Y'all, here we go. This was something I hope to never have to speak about again, but every blue moon, it seems to come back up again. And that is Candiace versus Monique. I am so over this conversation, but here we are. So, a fan happened to ask Candiace what she would do if Monique was asked to come back or was brought back to the Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, of course, the fans hit for the mess, down to the BravoCon. So we're going to talk about it. I was like, I don't really know if I feel like talking about this or not, because I just don't even want to revisit any of this, to be quite honest with you, because in my opinion, I felt like their demise could have been avoided. And I wish that maybe in the back of my mind, I always think to myself, could I have done more to prevent it from ever going? I mean, I know I can't shoulder the burden for that, but I'm just saying, I just felt like it could have been prevented. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the moment in question. Okay. So we're gonna run down real quick, what happened, right? The fan asked the question, would Candiace, stay on the show, or would she, pitch a fit and leave the show, right?
Or would you throw a royal hissy fit and be like, it's me or her?
So already, I mean, listen, the fan questions as they came in, y'all know they were already going to be shady. So we got to expect that. And that little part at the end about throwing a fit, I mean, that was the shade. But it is to be expected. It is BravoCon. So
Good question.
Good question.
It is.
Yeah.
and as you guys can see, I think that it's been known, pretty well known, that you know I think it's been pretty well known that if she wanted to, I believe that she could possibly go back, because they did ask her back to do the Ultimate Girls Trip as well. This is what Candiace had to say.
Well, I don't run scared from any bitch. So
Okay.
if she had the qualifications to return, which currently she does not, then
So I like the idea that Candiace would not. I like this notion that she's like game for whatever, right? I do like that. But I do have to question what the qualifications are to be on the show, because we do know that Monique has went through a divorce. So in my opinion, we know that there are quite a few single ladies who are on Housewives shows, correct? I mean, the face of Potomac is not in a well, I mean, she's in something, but she's not married, right? She's in a situationship. There are plenty of other ladies, Kenya Moore, Erica Jane, um, just quite a few ladies that we can all think of, Quad, who aren't married yet are still mainstays on their shows, Phaedra. So I'm not sure if the qualification that she is referring to is married. I'm not necessarily sure what the qualification that she's referring to is.
we could have a discussion. But as it stands now, no, thank you.
I mean, how much longer will you?
See, now that question at the end, though, see, that's when the people be getting out of hand. Okay, the people be getting out of hand, and so you could tell Candiace couldn't actually hear what that question was.
What did you say?
But the audience got it. Andy got it. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, one would think that, Real Housewives of Potomac, that if you were to talk about qualifications, technically you would want people that lived in Potomac, right? And then obviously you would think that if we were going by the housewife, name, yeah, that could be it. But we know that that's really not the case across the board, and that there are plenty of single ladies who are on a platform who are also not married. Also, too, just like when you say Real Housewives of Atlanta, not all the ladies live in Atlanta proper, right? Some of them live outside of Atlanta. Same with Beverly Hills. I believe Kyle and Dorit both live in Encino at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? These are things that are well known that have been talked about on the show, right? So it's kind of a name that works in theory, but it's not something that is held like as like this is it. Like you can't participate on this show unless you are these things, right? So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I have always hoped that they could just work it out and move along, especially after the show has, now that enough time has passed. And also too, now that, Candiace has seen a different side of Giselle for herself. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to tear down Giselle, because I just was reading a comment about y'all always need tearing these people down. And it's not really about tearing people down. It's about what we see on the show and how things pan out. And that's not necessarily tearing them down, because I'm really talking about these people from the perspective of what they do on the show and what they do on social media. But in terms of who they are as people, I'm not really judging all that. So anyway, let me know what y'all think about this. Again, it's a conversation I really didn't even want to have. I really didn't even want to discuss it because I feel like I'm so over it, right? But because it came up and it's making the news, I was like, we got to talk about it. So let's go. All right. The other thing that we need to talk about is British Williams. All right. So as you guys know, British Williams has been sentenced to 4 years in the clink due to all of the charges that were lobbied against her, right? So, in case you guys did not recall, thanks to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk, I mean, she is being sentenced to 4 years in the slammer after pleading guilty to 15 felonies, which include misusing social security numbers, bank fraud, insurance fraud, pandemic-related scams, and making false statements to the IRS, in case you needed to know all the details about that. Now, outside of the fact that I think her previous lawyer had come out and made some statements on TikTok about why he wasn't representing her, which I thought was kind of odd, it looks like now the lawyer that she is working with is trying to get her out, okay? As you guys can see, the headline reads, British Williams files an appeal for her 4-year prison sentence, claims judge treated her unfairly due to her celebrity status, right? All right, so these documents have been obtained by Radar Online. Her lawyer just filed for an appeal to her 4-year prison sentence, citing that the judge was too harsh in his sentencing only because she's a public figure. Now, the lawyer basically states that British wants the appellate court to review whether the lower court judge used the proper guidelines when sentencing her. All right. When the sentence was first handed down on the 24th of October, the lawyer stated that they believed her celebrity status played a part in the harsh sentencing. The sentencing came after British pled guilty to 15 counts of fraud. The recommended time was over 15 years. Now, based on what we had also heard, there were some sentencings. I mean, it could have been sentenced for much longer. And it's surprising to me, actually, that she got only 4 years when the recommended time was actually 10 years, considering that these are 15 counts to fraud that she pled guilty to. Unless she was handing down names of other people and letting people know, working out some kind of deal in which she was going to be providing information, names, dates, and other people and accomplices, I don't understand what it is. Her lawyer said this: British Williams was punished today, not for fraud, but for her celebrity. The court chose to treat her more harshly due to her status as a public figure rather than treating similarly situated defendants equally. Miss Williams' success is not a crime subject to an enhanced penalty, and we will challenge the sentence through every legal means available. Now, the caption reads here in the Neighborhood Talk, which I think a lot of us will probably agree with to some degree, is British, sis, you admitted that you took these people's money. Just go ahead and serve your time, babes. I mean, they couldn't have said it no better. I couldn't have said it no better myself. It's like, girl, like what would you think would be the recommended time? You think that, first of all, if it was recommended that you get 10 years, but some of those crimes could have been punishable of up to 30 to 20 and 30 years based on what we had read previously, the fact that you are getting 10 when the recommendation was, the fact that you're getting 4 when the recommendation was 10, girl, what did you expect? 30 days? Okay, did you expect the Martha Stewart treatment? Was that what you was expecting? I really don't know, to be honest with you. I'm quite confused. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I don't really know, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but I mean, it seemed like that time period was, right on the, it seemed like it was justifiable to me. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, and I cannot wait to read your comments on these stories. With that being said, I will catch you all, and of course, the next